Hey guys, we're finally back in the hardcore world. In the last episode, we went and defeated the Ender Dragon, got ourselves our very first Elytra, and it has been absolutely amazing flying around the base here. But yeah, I've been a pretty busy guy between episodes. Went on a little mining trip, got a bunch of coal and iron mainly, of course not mining any diamonds, unfortunately. I also went over to a desert, picking up some sand and sandstone from the same place that I found the desert temple, where I got my cactus and stuff in episode 5. I farmed up a whole lot of mushrooms. You can see me just going nuts on the mushroom farm over there with my new axe. Having mending on these tools and villagers to repair them really changes the game. I used to be so worried about my axe breaking. And I did a little trip into the nether mainly to get quartz. EXP is nice, but I'm also there for the actual quartz itself. And you might be wondering what I'm going to be doing with all of these blocks. Well, as you can probably tell from the title of today's video, we need to do some serious catch up with our industry. When I started off this world, I wasn't really thinking too much about farms and farming resources and stuff, and I'm realizing now that that's kind of a bit of a mistake. You know, it's just me in this world. I'm not in a server or anything. I can't just go buy items from a shopping district or something, as much as I wish I could. So if I want to have materials for a large building project, I just have to go farm it myself, you know? And in the early game, that was all fine and good. Our lump here was providing good sources of wood and, oh my god, I need to watch myself. Wood and bone meal and everything, but that's not really gonna cut it for me anymore, unfortunately. So in today's video, I'm planning on putting together a sugarcane farm, a gunpowder farm, a more substantial cactus farm, I guess, some smaller farms like maybe a flower farm, a too tall flower farm, that kind of stuff. And if we have time, I might even throw together one of those Enderman Grinder EXP farms. That might have to wait for the next episode because that's a little bit of a project. And well, I've already got a good source of EXP through the villagers, thankfully. Oh, actually, that reminds me, I need to go do some trading. Exactly one stack of emeralds later, and I've actually got quite a few levels. I wasn't really paying much attention to it before. But while we're here, quick little detour, we're gonna get to the farms in just a little bit, but I have 39 levels, which doesn't happen very often. So why don't we go do a little bit of enchanting, and then I'll show you what's in these here shulker boxes. I've got all these like spare tools and stuff from my end rating that, I mean, you know, some of them are decent, like that's actually quite good, and that's actually pretty terrible. That's also terrible. That one's good though. That one's actually quite good. So some of these I am gonna keep, but I figured we could like grindstone off a couple of these and just get some good spare tools going. Efficiency 4 Unbreaking 3 on the shovel is really not so bad. I'll take that, I guess. Let me refresh the trade. Take protection 1. Bane of Arthropods 4, yeah, I'm not taking that. Kinda just want to see if the books can give us anything useful. Protection 3 is not terrible, but what can we get off of the, ooh, respiration 3. Now that is okay. Okay. I mean, we can get Unbreaking 3 and Mending, which is fine, but Protection 3, Respiration 3, that was a little underwhelming, the Enchanting, but what can you really do, I guess? So, mysterious shulker boxes. Like with any good Minecraft build, if you're gonna build a farm, you might as well build something cool around it. And keeping with the style of our world thus far, well, I'm just kind of addicted to building mushrooms, let's just put it that way. I'm imagining a whole row of several different large mushrooms, each of which is going to be housing a different farm of some kind, assuming we can actually fit it in the mushroom. They might even be housing multiple if they become large enough. Unlike our existing shrooms, which really just have been using the mushroom stem and other white blocks as like the white component, you know, the stem component, I actually kind of want to use smooth sandstone this time around because it's going to give us a little bit more of like a, you know, a light beige kind of color. It's going to give us a lot of the same vibe that we get from the this texture of the mushroom block on the inside of our shroom here, but not a giant pain in the neck to actually place. Oh my god, these were so annoying. And complementing all these smooth sandstone, we're going to be using bone blocks, quartz, and mushroom stems, which I have been farming up a whole lot of, as you can see. Moss Farm has been going crazy down in here, basically running it non-stop. You can see I've done a couple little changes with the glass and whatnot, but I have really needed a whole lot of bone meal to make a whole lot of bone blocks, as you can imagine. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense as to all the stuff I was doing earlier. You can get an idea of why I was doing all of it. I figured before we buckle down and get knee deep into the redstone, we should do a little bit more resource gathering together. It'll be nice and chill. We can just hang out, farm some terracotta, farm some dyes and whatnot. It'll be a good time, and then once we're all tired out from that, we can go get involved in some redstone, and hopefully I don't make a mess of the place, but we'll see. If you've seen anything about my redstone from the previous videos, it's not much to get excited about. We'll see what happens with that. That's a future me's problem. Anyways, let's go grind some resources. Alright, real quick, you guys, I'm on my way over to a mesa to get some terracotta and whatnot, and I need you guys to see this. First of all, there's a desert village. That's pretty cool. Didn't see that one before when I was here earlier. And then I keep going, and then there's just like almost a dozen different azalea trees just growing out of the desert. I know these are supposed to be indications of like a lush cave or something, but look how many there are. Like, freeze frame, count it with me real quick. Whatever is going on under here must be like the largest lush cave in the entire universe. And then I see Desert Temple, another one, a ruined portal next to it, my mesa over there, the lush cave azalea trees, they're continuing this way, and there's another desert village right there. What is happening? What is wrong with this desert? I mean, whatever is going on here is great. There's like azalea trees every 5 feet for as far as the eye can see, but like, what the hell is happening here? Right, so we have gathered up a whole bunch of terracotta, and I also got a bunch of the crimson stem as well from the nether. Took a quick trip over there and just mined up a whole bunch of those nether trees. Of course, I also went out of my way to go raid those 2 villages and the other desert temple that I was showing you guys before. Got a couple of interesting things out of those, a whole lot of hay bales, which is pretty convenient, and some saddles. And I suppose now it's about time to talk about our full block palette. Bear with me 1 second. Hopefully things are starting to make a little bit more sense. For the actual stem of our mushroom, we're going to be using this really neat like beige to white gradient here using the bone blocks. And for the cap of our mushrooms, I want to take things in a different direction and make them purple and magenta. So we've got the stripped crimson wood here, we got the crimson planks, and then we've got purple and magenta terracotta, which I think are going to go very nicely together. Definitely a little bit all over the place with the saturation values. This one stands out in particular for being very saturated, but I think it's going to be okay. Mushrooms are all kind of hodgepodge all over the place anyways, so it's going to be alright if we have a little bit of interesting saturation stuff going on here. As for the mushroom stems, I'm still deciding between these and the smooth quartz blocks. You can see how the mushroom stem looks if I just plop one down in there. It's definitely a different vibe going on here. It's not quite as bright. I'm definitely leaning towards the quartz for the time being, but I guess we'll have to see what happens in the finished build. The quartz is also definitely a lot more expensive to go farm up. So yeah, these are the blocks we're going to be using for our industrial mushrooms, which I think are going to be over in this area here, over in the birch forest. Not really much going on over here. We've got this other little peninsula that hasn't been developed at all. I'm very, very excited to finally get some industry going in this world. Oh wow, I've got some friends. Gotta light up this birch forest, gotta do some deforestation, which we know everybody loves, and oh my god, these guys need to chill. All the more reason to light up this forest. It's time-lapse time. A whole lot of building later, and we got ourselves 2 giant purple mushrooms. These are, of course, our factory shrooms that we are going to be filling with redstone gadgets and farms and whatnot. I've been looking at it mainly from atop our main big shroom up here, and yeah, I mean, I think the shape and the texture gradient turned out super well. We really got to get a bird's eye view to look at them properly, but you can see here how they turned out. I hope you guys enjoy the time lapse and the music and whatnot. Of course, I've got some campfires making smoke coming out the top to emphasize that they're full of machines and gadgets and whatnot, and there is still drown spawning in my base. We love eternal darkness, folks, don't we? Yeah. But regardless, these mushrooms are looking fantastic. It's always a little difficult prototyping a build that you know is going to only be viewed at night. The texture gradient on the mushroom caps is not quite as noticeable when you're looking at the build at nighttime, which is actually kind of a good thing because, to be honest, there's a lot of different saturation values in these textures, and it didn't really look too great when I was prototyping these builds in a creative world, which is of course with daytime. As for the mushroom stems, you can see we chose to go with quartz up there instead of the mushroom stem block. We're going to be definitely using those mushroom stems in a future build because I don't want to put all that farming to waste. But for now, we're sticking with the quartz because I think it definitely plays with the gradient better. And I didn't even mention this before the time lapse, but we got some birchwood in here as well. I totally forgot that like stripped birchwood actually goes really well with this color gradient, and then I had so much of it from all that deforestation that I just started using it and it turned out really well. I do want to mention that these mushrooms are not just empty shells. I actually went and did a couple farms as well off camera. I know I said I was gonna do the redstone first, and here I am kind of just doing the redstone and the building all at the same time. Of course, I didn't time lapse the redstone because that wouldn't be very interesting. Please get off of my house. Thank you very much. There's going to be 3 mushrooms eventually in our little factory area over here. We're still missing the largest one, which is going to go right about there. As for the other 2, well, this is the tiny one right here. I wonder if he's going to jump off and try and get me. Here, buddy, 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 buddy. Here, buddy, buddy, buddy. Maybe not. Anyways, in here inside the little shroom, you can see we got a whole cactus farm. We got 1 row right here, we got a 2nd row right here, and if we keep going on up, we've got a 3rd row all the way up here, right up to the top of the mushroom. We can't really fit another row up here, and of course we got a few extra cacti sitting around on the sides here just to get a couple extra cactus drops every now and again. You know, run-of-the-mill standard cactus farm design, nothing wrong with it. The cacti try and grow, but they get broken by the fence that's in between them there. The cactus item pops off, falls into the water, and drops into that hole in the middle, and eventually pops out down here where I've got a good bit of cactus collecting. It's just a simple water stream for the time being. And over in our medium-sized shroom, this one is still a bit of a work in progress, but if you take a look up there, we got some funky stuff going on over there. You might be able to tell what kind of farm it is just from the underside, but it is our very first automated sugarcane farm. Now I know that's not very much, but the farm, frankly, is not particularly big. It is really difficult to fit, oh hi buddy, it is really difficult to fit farms inside these kinds of builds, as you can imagine. It is made quite a bit worse by the fact that I'm not very good at redstone, like I was saying before, and most of my designs are kind of just like unga bunga brain dead like 2012 redstone, to be honest. You can kind of see the little sugarcane down there growing very slowly. My general philosophy when it comes to Minecraft farms is that I don't really bother trying to make the thing really huge or efficient. To me, as a builder, the most important thing is that it fits within whatever build I'm trying to encase it in, and that it goes well with the style. Mushrooms and redstone don't particularly go well together, which is why I've completely encased the redstone. I'm not trying to highlight it in any way. I still need to cover up the redstone in my big shroom with the melon and pumpkin farm, but we'll get to that some other time. I know this farm is probably going to make some of you redstone people cry out there, but that's completely fine with me, to be honest. It's slow, it's not particularly efficient, but it does produce redstone, but it does produce sugarcane automatically. Down here, I'm planning on having a couple different kinds of flower farms. I want to have one of those shuka moving back and forth flower farms right in the middle here. And then maybe around the edges, I could have some of those too tall flower farms, which I know are very simple. Oh, well, I was gonna go talk about stuff to improve in this area, but I'm out of rockets, so I'll be right back. Just have to swim on over to my storage system like a plebeian. Doing the walk of shame here, forgot to bring enough rockets, and well, now I'm paying the price. Okay, yeah, down to my last stack of rockets, so that gunpowder farm's gotta come pretty quick, to be honest. And speaking of the gunpowder farm, we have one more mushroom to take care of, which is going to be the largest mushroom of the industrial area over here, or at least the purple shroom factory area. It's not quite much of an industrial area right now. It's gonna go right about here. Trees. It's gonna go right about there, right below me. You can see underneath me there. And that's going to be housing our gunpowder farm. Admittedly, I haven't gotten any cats yet, so that might take a little while. We're going to be using the very small, like, cat-based design. I definitely don't have room inside my mushroom design for, like, a really, really huge, you know, multi-different kinds of mob, kind of water farm or whatever. And yeah, it's going to be fitting entirely inside our largest mushroom, which is pretty great because the gunpowder farm is generally very circular. I think all I really need to do besides building the thing is, well, picking up some cats, which, as we saw earlier, there is quite a few villages off in that direction. Why don't I go take care of that right now, and I'll meet up with you guys when I've got the gunpowder farm in place. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different this time around and build the farm first, because I really do want to make sure that I don't have to cut any corners with regards to the size and the shape of the mushroom. Really just going to make sure that everything fits well, and it's going to be an efficient gunpowder farm, because oh boy, with how much I'm flying around, we are going to need a lot of gunpowder. I have been listening to cats meow for hours. Oh god, it's getting really annoying. And I own a cat in real life. You'd think I'd be used to this, but no. It's getting to me a little bit, guys. But we have a finished gunpowder farm where our third and final mushroom is going to be. These gunpowder farms, the cat-powered ones, they're pretty simple in concept, but they are definitely a huge grind to put together, especially when you don't have the cats beforehand. The way this works is we've got two different levels here, each one split into 4 different segments, each segment looking just like the one you're looking at right now. And when the creepers spawn, they get scared by the cats, they get pushed into the water stream underneath all of the trapdoors and everything, and they eventually make their way into this killing chamber down here, and we have not had any creepers spawn yet. Hostile mob farms might be a little difficult just because it is always nighttime, which means there are always mobs spawning out there in the wild, but I'm gonna do my best to light up caves and whatnot, and well, we'll see if the rates improve. But yeah, I have been going crazy with the Minecraft grind today, guys. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I am tired. It's been a crazy day doing a whole lot of building, a whole lot of farm construction, and most importantly, whole lot of cat herding. But yeah, guys, we've got our third major farm constructed. I admittedly haven't done the flower stuff yet. I'm still debating if I want to add flower farms at the bottom here or more sugarcane. Because low-key, this sugarcane farm, I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be efficient, but like, after all this time making that whole gunpowder farm, it's only like 3.5 stacks. Like, this thing is pretty trash, not gonna lie. And I could use the extra stuff from an extra sugarcane farm down here. So I'm still thinking about that, still debating. Oh my god, it grew up! You're big now! Congratulations! Yeah, I'm still debating if I want to do flour or sugar or whatever down there, but first on my priorities list is to get our largest factory shroom encasing this here farm and stretching up into the sky. It's going to be way taller than either of the previous two. It's really going to be kind of overshadowing them a little bit and completing the trifecta of our factory shrooms right here. So yeah, I'm going to call it quits for today, pick things back up tomorrow, and well, no time will have passed for you in the magical video edited land, but I hope you guys enjoy the upcoming time lapse. One ridiculous all-day grind session later, it is finished. Actually, JK, it's not. I didn't do the back on this big mushroom. Don't look at that. But for the most part, everything is completely finished over here. All of our 3 giant factory shrooms are completely constructed and built out, except for this little bit on the back, but we're not going to look at that right now. And oh man, it has been a massive grind getting this put together. I was basically building non-stop, grinding up terracotta, placing terracotta all day today. So I really do hope you guys are enjoying the video, because these these guys do take a whole lot of work, but it is absolutely worth it to be able to make these amazing builds like these cool little mushrooms with smoke coming out of the top, because, you know, they're factories, they're producing items and whatnot. And if we go ahead and take a look down at our gunpowder farm, woo, it's starting to make a couple things, you know, nothing really that crazy going on. I've just been building, haven't done any proper AFKing or anything. Of course, if you want to AFK for a mob farm like this, you need to go up way high in the sky. And, well, I haven't gotten around to that yet, but I'll put an AFK platform somewhere up there at some point in the future. So, hopefully you can get a little bit more gunpowder than just 2 stacks after hours and hours and hours of building. Admittedly, my original plans for this did not go quite as well as I was hoping. Originally, this mushroom was actually going to be about 10, 12, actually more like 15 blocks lower. The stem was going to be very short and squat because the cap was going to be really huge to make up for it. But then my mediocre planning skills kicked into effect, and I realized that if I had this mushroom down any further, it would be clipping into these side mushrooms over here. Now, that wasn't a huge deal, but I did like the idea of having these guys separated, even if it's just by a little gap like that one right there. Oh my god, I almost face planted there. I still wanted to keep them separated, so I had to raise this entire thing up by about 15 blocks, which means I hadn't finished the stem yet because my original prototype design no longer applies here. But on the plus side, if we want an even more efficient gunpowder farm, now we have a lot of extra space to expand this thing upwards. Check out the sheer amount of space we have down. I can almost fly around in this whole mushroom cap like, oh, there's an empty spot. You saw nothing. There's so much empty space up here. We could honestly fit several more farms up here. I had to mine a crazy amount of terracotta to get all this taken care of. I didn't even put any, what do you call it, stripped crimson wood in the cap of the mushroom here because that would have required hours and hours of nether tree farming, and I really did not want to do that, not gonna lie. Oh boy, anyways. All ranting aside, this build is coming along super well. We have had an insane building grind episode today, but we've got 3 more amazing mushrooms off on the side of our starter area. It really does feel great to slowly be pushing back the darkness, expanding out our little realm of light amidst this very dark and scary world. You know, there is still so much darkness out there, wild, untamed wilderness, totally infested with mobs. But slowly, one mushroom at a time, we're pushing back the darkness and creating an area that's lit up and beautiful and lush and vibrant and all these other lovely adjectives. I'm a really big fan, and I hope you are as well, of all these really cool builds we have put together so far in this world. Don't worry guys, many more to come. Couldn't quite do as much as I had originally planned to. Of course, we didn't finish the stem on the back of the mushroom here. We didn't get to our enderman farm. We didn't get to our big shuka flower farm like I was talking about before. We were able to put together some little mini 2 tall flower farms and kind of decorate this area too, so that's working pretty well. You can kind of just boop all these right here, get a couple flowers to my name. In the next episode, we are going to be continuing our work on this factory area. Probably not adding any more mushrooms, but I really do want to do some custom terraforming here. I want to turn this into a cool little mushroomy biome instead of a regular old generic birch forest. We're going to be finishing off the farms here. We're going to be detailing these mushrooms a little bit more. They're a little bit bland right now. And I want to put together a central hub room for all of the different crops from all these different mushroom farms to be like funneling into. I'm imagining an underground chamber right in the middle of these 3 shrooms, right about where I'm standing right now actually. It's going to be a really cool little interior decorated underground room, kind of like the ones that have our sheep and cow farms, but a lot bigger. I'm calling it the antechamber. But that's gonna have to be for next episode, guys, because I definitely need to go get this video out on time. So if you enjoyed today's video, a like would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are not subscribed, consider doing that as well. And until next time, my dudes, this has been Leon, and I will see you all in the next Minecraft random hardcore video. Take care, my friends.
I like your voice, even when you're Minecrafting. And I don't know what you're saying. I love you.
It's going in the video. I mean, the mic's been on. Oh, you know. It would be funny if I put the I like your voice even when you're Minecrafting in at the end. That would be funny.